Hello, welcome to the new team review. Today we're going to take a look at a team around Shadow Fortress. We pair it today with Mantine and the Sableye. Both of them function well as a safe swap. I usually went for the Mantine as a safe swap, I think, but I actually had like not a lot of leads where I directly lose against, because you have like so much courage with the Fortress in general. You can handle fairy types, you can handle dark types like Obstagoon, you can handle a Nidoqueen because of all the steel typing of the Earthquake. Like there's not a lot where you are really kind of screwed with the Fortress. Most of the stuff you face is actually pretty decent for you. So Fortress is a lot of play right now in the current meta, as so the other Pokemon. Like Fortress beats like so many stuff. I already like said the dark types like Nidoqueens, which you can beat. You have the fairy types, which you can beat, and like when it loses against fire types and stuff like Diggers because there's like Fire Punch. But you have Mantine, which completely hardwalls those. Like there's nothing a Diggersby could do against a Mantine. I actually said they only had like a one battle where I faced Diggersby, and that was when I simultaneously swapped with him. But I wanted to the Sableye and not into my Mantine. Would have been really nice if I could align them, but no. And yeah, I also already recorded like the audio for like the first 2 minutes, but then I realized that my microphone was muted, which is always nice. Happens not a lot of times to me, which is good, but hey, here we have a fire type against us, and we can just go into our Mantine and just farm all the way down. We don't have to hit anything here. We resist. We don't resist the Psy Shock, but we have already debuffed, and we can go for some Ice Beams again. The Mandibus here. We're definitely going to get to 2 Ice Beams, which already put him so low that we're going to see the beauty of a one-turn quick move as soon-ish here, as we put him so low that a 1 Bug Bite was enough to KO him here before he can go off and throw his charge moves. And here we have a lot of lag, as we have a lot of lag recently in general again. Like usually, like before GoFest, basically I think everything was alright for like 1.5 weeks or something, where it was actually like smooth gameplay, everything was fine. And now again, with GoFest being around before, like had like so much lag recently, which was like super annoying. But I hope it's gonna be fixed again. It's always like in waves. There's like times where you have no lag at all, and then you have like times where it's just so laggy the whole time. And here we just finish up the game with the Fortress. Next up we have Fortress against Golbat. Not the best matchup, as your Bug Bite is triple resisted actually. No, double resisted. But it still actually hurts a lot because it's like a one-turn move, and I think it always does like 2 damage or something because both are Shadow, and Golbat has not a lot of HP anyway. So it's always kind of hurts a lot. My opponent stays in for the Ice Beam, which is so beautiful for us, as Ice Beam against the Golbat just hurts so much. We can just basically get our opponent a bit lower here and also debuff his attacks, so his attacks don't do as much. He goes for the Ice Beam, which actually still KOs, which I'm surprised at this point. Here we can go into a Sableye. I actually gonna shield once, but you're gonna see the second time I'm just gonna farm all the way down how much it's actually gonna do, as it's not gonna be a lot. Shadow Ball doesn't even do a half because of the double debuff there. Opponent goes into Golbat. Correct play here, but I can farm down because I didn't throw my move. My opponent goes into Obstagoon. I'm just going to go for the return straight away, go into my Fortress, and this matchup is pretty decent for the Fortress. We should be able to win this, I think. We can just go for the Mirror Shot here, and we should be able to get him low. He got the attack debuff as well, and yeah, he had to let one go anyway. And that's going to be it, because I can farm down, because Bug Bite does so much damage against the Obstagoon. And good game there. Next up we have a Nidoqueen, and yeah, I went 14 and 6 with this team, which was pretty decent. And yeah, I can recommend you if you have the Pokemon. I know like a lot of people don't have Fortress, but Fortress is super underrated. Like it's nearly always good in every cup we have, and it is also like good still in the main meta. But like you don't see it as often, but it's actually way underrated. Here we just catch the Earth Power, which was nice. My opponent gets into the Swallows. I expected him to shield here because he has 2 shields left. He knows that I have Ice Beam, so I'm just gonna go for the bait, and it worked out pretty well. And because he goes for the body slam here, we can go for the Ice Beam. And if he lets us go, he most likely dies. If not, we're gonna get a shield, and we're gonna get a shield here, and we have basically got 2 shields there with our Mantine still, which was nice. We're gonna shield the Dark Bolts here. And my opponent goes into a Nidoqueen. I'm just gonna go for 1 Mirror Shot and farm down, and then it depends where he is in the back. It's gonna be, It's gonna be a Sableye itself. I can go for the Earthquake here, but I don't know if this was the right play. I can go to my own Sableye. I have to take a move now. But I can get some extra farm. That'll be interesting. Swallows here. Can we get to the return? We click on the return. He actually is at the move right now. But if we get to another move, maybe with our Fortress here, but we can't. So if we throw the foul play, we would have been fine, but then he could have just farmed us down and went for the Dark Pulse, so I was actually super unlucky to lose this match. Most likely there were like several chances where we could have won, but it's okay. Here my opponent goes into goal bit. I make a bigger mistake here, not going instantly into my Sableye, as I should have done that. As now I'm in a really bad spot actually, because I have to shield now. My opponent has like really free play here. I have to go for the move here, but he can realign the Obstagoon against us, and it does not look too good. But I should be able to get a shield against the Obstagoon thanks to the extra energy here. We're just gonna go for the bait, as we can expect our opponent to shield here because he's fearing the return. And we can go for a return right now, as we're gonna survive this counter like with 1 HP and a dream. This return gonna do a lot of damage. And we can go back into our Fortress. He goes into the Nidoqueen, and Nidoqueen against Mantine is a pretty solid matchup for the Mantine. Maybe I should have shielded the first move here. Oh no, if I shield, then I shield the second move, never mind, because of the debuff. But we can go for the extra... Okay, can we survive this? Okay, we're gonna let this go, and we should be able to survive this and go for another Bubble Beam. If we let this go, it's also fine for us, because then we can just bug bite them down. If not, it's also okay. And here he has like his obstacle, and there's nothing he can do. I can let this one go, and yeah, there was no way he could have won this game anymore. Next up, we're gonna have Fortress against Frostless. Not the best matchup actually, because the Mirror Shot only gonna do like half of the health, but I know this is only an Avalanche, because he went way too fast there. You always get to the Mirror Shot before they get to the Shadow Ball. And here's the game what I mean. If I just went into my Mantine there, of course I would have been fine, but we swapped at the same time. So that was super unlucky for me, because I had like the hardest counter in the back, and then he baited me as well. They got the hell. And no, I cannot really give up a shield because of Frostless, and Frostless pressure shields really hard. I'm gonna go for the return here, which still won't KO, but I would have been in such a good spot if I just could have went into my Mantine instead. But this is like kind of sad, because like simultaneously swapped out there, which is fine. You can go for a Fire Punch, and it was like really laggy at this point, and he gets to another move. I have no idea how, but this all don't do anything, as you can see here. You can swap back into the Fortress, and he goes into a Nidoqueen, which is interesting. I'm gonna have to let this go, but maybe I can get to an Earthquake here. With some lag, we can go for the Earthquake there now, like we have like also like the whole time. And we can KO the Nidoqueen, which is beautiful. And now we still have some energy on the Mantine. Even though my opponent has also some energy, we can go for some Bubble Beams and debuff him a bit. And bubble damage is gonna hurt a lot after like a while. So we can just gonna go for the next Bubble Beam, and he's double debuff now. So we're definitely gonna survive one more move. And if we can get to another Bubble Beam, I think we should be able to win this game, as the bubble damage just adds up right now. He goes to the Shadow Ball, which is even better for us, because now he has no way to get to the Avalanche again. And we're gonna be able to go for a Bubble Beam and gonna KO him, and that's gonna be a good game. Mantine OP. Next up, Fortress against Wigglytuff. Of course, we stay in. It's actually not the best matchup, but it's definitely like playable, as we can just go for the Mirror Shots here. And my opponent goes into Lapras, and Lapras is actually a bigger problem. And I think I went also into the Sableye a bit too late, but I think Lapras nearly always won this matchup, unless you go into 2 shields, maybe you can farm down. Even then, it looks not like it. But we have to see. We can go for the foul play now. I think he let this go because he has a fairy type anyway in the back. Yeah, let this go. He can just farm me down now. But I wanted to get low anyway, so the Wigglytuff only gets 1 move in. And he goes into Hypno. Hypno is actually good for us, but like with the Pokemon I have in my bag, like I don't know if we can do this. I have to catch the Fire Punch here, otherwise there was like no way I could have won. And yeah, still he's gonna have Thunder Punch now, which is gonna hurt a lot. I hope he shields here, otherwise I'm screwed. He does not shield, and I have to shield because Thunder Punch is gonna hurt way more than anything else. But I can farm all the way down, which is nice. And we're gonna be able to go for a Bubble Beam here, and maybe we can get some shields here as well. As this kinda threatens him, he has to throw someday. Like, seriously. We can go for another Bubble Beam. He let this go. I think I want to catch the move here on the Fortress, but I have a move slot anyway, so I'm just gonna go for the Mirror Shot here. And does this move KO us now? Because we're like already, oh, it's Dazzling Gleam, and we can go for the farm down here. We're gonna win with Mantine again. You see how good Mantine is actually, like, it's crazy. Next up we have Mandibuzz again. Usually I kinda want to catch a move on my Mantine, I think, and throw like one move here. So if you throw one move here, I think if you go for one Bubble Beam and the Ice Beam, you're in a good spot. So if my opponent stays in here, I'm just gonna go for the Bubble Beam. Okay, he actually gets to the move before me, but I got the extra quick move in. It goes into Registeel, which is fine for me, as he is now locked into this. I can go for some Bubble Beams, and Registeel can't do anything against the Mantine. Like, it's basically useless against it. We have some lag here, he throws his move here, and now he can swap out into my Sableye as well. Why do I go for the Bubble Beam here? That was not the smartest play. Sableye was already like as a swap out there, so not smart. Here my opponent tries to go into the Mandibuzz, but I can go for a return and maybe farm down here. So we're gonna be able to farm all the way down. And what do we have next? We have the Registeel again. We have to shield here because Registeel would hurt a lot now, whereas it's not double debuffed. But we can farm up extra energy and go for some foul plays here. And he's actually gonna shield this, and I'm gonna catch the move on my Mantine, because a Mantine just is the best shield in the world. I can go back into my Sableye. He definitely has no crazy answer against me in the back, otherwise he would have swapped in that instead of the Registeel, I think. So it's gonna be an Empoleon, which is interesting, as we have to get to 2 foul plays here to be able to get like a chance in this battle. We're gonna be able to get to the second foul play as well. And this is gonna secure us the win, as we can just bug bite him down now, because it only gets to 1 move here. We have a shield left, and it's gonna be a good game. And yeah. Next up, the next opponent has Dewgong in the lead. That's already horrible actually, but he swaps out into Mandibuzz. We have some lag. I go for the Mirror Shot. So much lag recently, it's crazy. If we don't get the debuff, we can go into the Mantine again. I'm just gonna let the first one go, and then gonna go for the Bubble Beam, because Bubble Beam is gonna put him into Ice Beam range. And now we can like farm up a bit extra. Here we got the extra move through, and hopefully go for like 4 moves now. 1, 2, no, I'm just gonna go straight. I should have went for a bit more, but now the Dewgong can come back in, and yeah, Dewgong is really good against this team. Even I think the lead is kind of neutral matchup, but everything else is gonna be a bit difficult, and he goes into a Machamp. And we're like a bit behind energy here, which is gonna hurt a lot, as the Machamp just gonna outspeed us, and Machamp actually can win against Sableye and the 2 shields. I think just going straight to cross chop actually, because you see the counter damage, it's only single resisted and just like chunks so much, and he gets to the moves a bit faster than us. So here we're just gonna go for another foul play. He actually let this go, which is a super smart play, as he has a boost out here already. Gonna KO us here, and there's nothing really we can do with our Dewgong, with the Dewgong against the Fortress, because he has still a shield, so we cannot go like straight for the Earthquake and KO him. So I'm just gonna surrender at this point of time. There's no way I could win this. So good game there. Next up, last opponent, we're gonna have Frosters against us. We can go for the Mirror Shot immediately here. This time my opponent actually farms up to a Shadow Ball. I'm proud of my opponent. We don't get the drop there, and we can go into the Mantine, try to catch the move, and we actually catch the Avalanche, which is a bit worse. But my opponent goes into Cresselia after throwing his charge move and some quick moves, which is gonna allow me to go for some Bubble Beams, as this is gonna debuff him, and like Cresselia has like no shot at all against the Fortress. We can just farm all the way down because every move is resisted from Cresselia. And what we're gonna do here now is just gonna farm up extra energy, then swap out, because basically there was no reason for us to throw with our Mantine, and getting some extra energy is always nice. My opponent goes into Sableye. I'm just gonna go for the bait here, even though he does not, we're not at the Earthquake. My opponent does not know. We get the attack debuff. We can go for another bait here soon, as the opponent does not know that we're not at the Earthquake yet. And we get another shield, another attack debuff. And now we're in a really good spot, as we can go for the Ice Beam. Gonna be able to get this thing low. And this should be also it for the video. Thanks all for watching. If you have those Pokemon, like, I can really recommend it to you. And yeah, it's gonna be it from me. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and see you in the next video, while the Sableye gonna KO this thing, and the Forretress is still around, but we're gonna survive our move, and we're gonna be able to win, and good game!